Welcome everyone to the next edition of the NARI Spotlights. I'm with John Tabor of the Tabor Design and Build company. I guess the real name's Tabor Design Build, right?
Yes, exactly.
So I want to welcome you, and John, I really do appreciate you taking the time to participate in our little project here. Would you mind telling us?
Thank you, Art.
Oh, well, you're welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Excellent. Can you tell us a little bit about the history of your company? How did it come about? You know.
Sure, I'll be glad to. I used to work as a carpenter, building houses and for different remodeling companies. And I got tired of us all getting laid off when the project was over. So went to school. First, wanted to be an engineer. And it took me a couple years to realize I didn't want to be an engineer. I found I really loved helping out neighbors and family friends on weekends and after school doing repair work. And I decided, hey, this is what I want to do. I want to work for myself. And in 1986, I started my first remodeling company, and I've been working for myself ever since.
Okay. So I need to ask, was your mother thrilled when you told her you were dropping out of college?
She was horrified. But she's proud. She was proud.
Okay.
After a few years.
And you're still here?
Yes, I am.
That's right. Let me ask, and you already shared a little bit of this, but what is your favorite part of the remodeling process, of the project itself? What's the thing that brings you back time and time again?
That's a great question. My favorite part of this is after the project's done, when people thank me and tell me that we've transformed their lives for the better. That gives us a feeling that we did right.
Yeah, that's an interesting point, because at one point, you know, a house is a house. Most of us live in acceptable houses. But yet when you can, you know, put it together right, I think it brings the family closer together when you can cook together and all those things. It actually doesn't just change the visual space, but actually changes how people interact. Have you found that?
Absolutely. Also, making it easier for people to get around in their house. Some of our clients have special needs, and we've adapted their housing to fit those.
That's fantastic. Actually, that brings up an interesting point. How do you actually design a project? What does that look like?
Great. I like to design everything in 3D. We've got a 52-inch monitor in our conference room, and I've got a guy who's really fast with his 3D software. He can create and move around objects very quickly with this. So we design it with the clients in real time in 3D.
Oh, wow.
That way we're getting the pictures out of their head of what they're dreaming about and getting it up onto the TV screen. And then we can look at it and help them revise and refine that. And then we make our plans from that and we build it. And before, when we used to do this all on paper in 2 dimensions, when we get done with the project, a couple of times people told us, that's not what I thought it would look like. And I thought, man, that's, it's horrible. You spend all this time and all this money and it's not what you envisioned. Well, I said, we're never going to let that happen again. And since then, we've designed all of our projects in 3D. Now, it's about 12 years ago. That was the last time I heard those words.
That's fantastic.
I'm planning on never hearing again.
Hearing them again. And I would imagine that, being able to visualize something before it's built from paper, the way you used to do it, that's a special skill, and not everyone has that. I mean, there are probably some clients who were able to visualize it, but the vast majority, I would think, not.
Exactly. Most of them can't. It takes a lot of practice, I think, to be able to visualize it immediately.
Yeah, very much. Um, but that sounds like a pretty massive undertaking. You're sitting in that conference room, designing everything out, which is wonderful. And you get it up on that screen and it's like, okay, that's it. But then, John, you have to actually produce it at some point, right?
That's right.
What's
We do.
that process like?
Okay, what we specialize in is making the project go smoothly for our clients and getting in and out of their home quickly. And because we know that remodeling is disruptive when you're living in a house. We take every reasonable step to make it as least disruptive as possible. But it's still, if you're having half your house, closed off with plastic and people coming into work at 7 in the morning, it's going to be disruptive.
Sure.
And that. And so one of the things we also do, besides scheduling out what's going to happen every day and giving that to our clients, we have a project manager who is an employee of Tabor Design, who's on the project every day. And he's the person managing the plumbers and electricians and tile setters and whoever else is on the project. And we've found that without that, I know some people who don't have project managers on their project every day or who subcontract project management, and their jobs are pretty chaotic, to put it mildly.
Yeah. An interesting point, and I'd be interested if you agree with this or not. Obviously, as the owner, you stay involved in the project. I mean, I
Yes,
understand that.
absolutely.
But I will say many times when the owner is the project manager, that scares me a little bit because I know how many directions an owner is being pulled in. Do you find that it's helpful that it's not you who ultimately is the project manager? I mean, would you agree with my premise that having someone who's dedicated to that job is actually helpful?
Absolutely. Yeah, because that project manager is dedicated to that project. And then we have a production manager who oversees all of our project managers and helps make sure all of our projects are running smoothly.
Excellent.
And he reports directly to me. So,
right.
Yeah, if I was running the project, I wouldn't be getting anything else done.
Exactly, which is in the end would mean you didn't get the project done.
Right. It's a full-time job.
Exactly. All right, excellent. Now, I know that you've been involved with NARI for several years. Can you share with us a little bit of what NARI has done for you and what you've done for NARI?
Yeah, NARI's a fantastic group of people. I have met some of the best people to work with through NARI, and lots of people. I've become friends with many of the other members, and I've gotten a lot of education through NARI. So life's too short to keep reinventing the wheel yourself. And if I'm having a challenge in one area, chances are a lot of other members have solved that. So what did they do to solve it? And similarly, if I've solved something, the other people are having a challenge with, we can help each other get through this. And also, I'm on the ethics committee because many years ago, I had a client tell me that being a member of NARI didn't mean anything, and anybody can join. I said, no, that's not true. We have ethical standards, and so I decided to make it mean more. And I joined the ethics committee, and we review everyone's application, who's joining, and make sure that they are up to our high standards so that not just anybody can join. And also, we mediate issues when clients and our members have an issue with each other. We can mediate that situation and hopefully resolve it for both parties.
Excellent. All right, super. Well, I know that NARI has, as an example, different awards for remodeling projects and the like. Have you ever won any awards for any of your projects?
Oh yeah, yeah. We've won a few. Let's see. Earlier this year, I went to San Diego to the National NARI conference, and we got a regional award for a project we did.
Oh,
It
neat.
was a project we enlarged a home for a family that what had happened. This guy is a scientist at NASA, and he is a widower, and he had two boys, and he met another engineer at NASA, and she had a boy and a girl from a previous marriage, and they wanted to get married and live in his house, and so they wanted to have a bedroom for each child and expand the house. So we built a second story on top of the house,
Oh, neat.
and we entered that in the awards, and also we did a mosaic on the floor of the solar system.
Oh, wow.
So with a lot of different granites and other stones, we inlaid into the floor in their foyer. And, them being engineers, of course, it had to be perfect. He told us, which stones to use, what parts of the stones, and that. So it came out well. And,
I have to
it
ask,
was award winning.
did they get a micrometer out and measure, make sure you had each star in the right location?
No, wasn't that precise.
Okay, very good. And it sounds, John, like you have a pretty full week. Do you ever have any time to just enjoy life?
Oh yeah, yeah. My favorite sport is scuba diving.
Really?
Yeah, I like trying to find some buried treasure. There's a lot of wrecks off the East Coast that I like to dive on.
That's wonderful. So how long of the year do you do that? I mean, is that a 12-month thing? Do you
Yeah,
have dry suits
yeah.
and stuff, or
Right. Well, hey, we can go to Florida in the winter and go to the islands. So yeah, and I want to go to Iceland in November and go diving. There's where the two tectonic plates go together, the North American plate and the European plate. There's a rift that you can go diving in there in Iceland. So I want to check that out with my son this November and see the Northern Lights.
Oh, that would be special. Now that particular section, does anything special happen there because of the two plates coming together?
It's just some crystal clear water, I'm told. It looks exciting. So
It sounds good.
yeah,
Well,
so we're looking forward to doing that.
great. Well, John, I want to thank you for joining us here for this episode of the NARI Spotlights. I really appreciate you taking your time to join us, and we appreciate all the information you shared.
Well, great. Well, thank you, Art. It's my pleasure.
Okay. Talk to you later. Bye.
All right. See ya.